Hello and welcome to the Big Game. I'm Annessa Cruz alongside Nicole Faucheux. Today we'll look at the tough series loss the Lions baseball team suffered on the road at Utah.
And we'll also see how the football team closed out its spring camp in the white versus gold spring game.
But first, let's talk about baseball. The Lions baseball team recently took on the Utah Utes on the road. After taking the Friday night opener by a score of 3-2, the Lions were unable to hold off the bats of the Utes as they were defeated 14-5 in Game 2 and 4-3 in Game 3 of the series. The Lions jumped out to an early lead in Game 2. They were up 5-1 when Utah's bats came alive. Utah went on to score 13 unanswered runs, which sealed the victory. Game 3 was a nail-biter as the Lions took the lead 3-2 with 2 outs in the top of the ninth inning, behind some clutch hitting from Daniel Midiet, whose triple just inside the first baseline gave Southeastern the lead. But once again, they could not withstand the Utes' bats as Utah scored 2 runs in the bottom of the ninth for a final score of 3-4 Utes.
One of the Lions baseball players, freshman Zachary Clark, has not had an easy road to playing collegiate baseball, but he's found strength in playing the game, and his journey is far from over. Maci Hill has more on the story.
On June 26, 2013, a family in Killian, Louisiana had their lives changed forever. Zachary Clark, now a freshman at Southeastern Louisiana University, and his family received terrible news. His grandmother, Patricia Abels, was diagnosed with breast cancer.
I didn't say, why me? But I kept saying in the back of my mind, not me. You know, I don't have this.
Clark, a senior at Springfield High School at the time, took the news as well as you could expect.
I instantly just felt like, why would this happen to someone like her? Because she's the most positive person, you know, that any of us know. Like, why does this kind of stuff happen to her? And it was just really tough for all of us.
You see, Clark was on his way to letter for the second time in football and for the 4th year in a row for baseball. He was batting a .538 as a junior and was showing no signs of slowing down. With the news of his grandmother's illness, he looked to baseball to keep his mind off things.
Locking in, focusing on the game, focusing on the pitcher, you know, what's going on. That's what really helps.
Patricia started her treatment, some weekly chemo, followed by larger chemo sessions, finally resulting in surgery. After winning her battle, she is now cancer-free. Clark went on to earn All-State, All-Parish, and All-District honors, a perfect high follow. He was also ranked as a top 10 infielder in the state. He claims a lot of his success comes from his support system.
They did drive all the way to Jackson, Mississippi to see me get my first collegiate hit, so that was awesome. I'm lucky, you know, to have a family like that, and I'm truly blessed.
What this Lions grandmother faced, over 200,000 more people will face this coming year. Over 1,200 teams a year wear pink for breast cancer awareness, and now Clark views that in a different light.
And now, when I put on something pink or even something blue for autism awareness, it definitely shines a little light on the situation.
Clark was one of 15 in his signing class and only one of 4 infielders head coach Matt Reiser was bringing onto the Southeastern team. As a freshman, he is still getting used to college ball, where things are played just a little differently.
Well, it's a pretty tough transition. Like, if everything speeds up, the pitching's faster, the balls hit harder, everyone's faster.
Although Zach worked hard to earn his spot here at Southeastern, he now realizes there are much tougher battles being fought off the diamond. For the Big Game, I'm Maci Hill.
Meanwhile, the Lady Lions softball team is 13-4 in the Southland Conference and currently sitting in 3rd place in league standings. The ladies have been getting tremendous play from freshmen Kinsey Nichols and Sydney Booker. Nichols and Booker batted .700 and .900 respectively as the Lions outscored the Lamar Lady Cardinals 26-7 recently in a series sweep. Matt Flores took a closer look into the Lady Lions season.
It's time for our loudest fans in the stands t-shirt throws.
Southeastern's Lady Lions entered their final series game against Lamar University, having won both doubleheader games the day before.
When we set out to play this series, we were what we call one game to the good, because we had swept Incarnate Word. So we were thinking, well, we got to come out here and get one. If 2's available, take 2. And then last night, we said we've got to come and get them. We knew they were going to throw the same kid again.
Southeastern came out swinging in the first inning with third baseman Megan Moore hitting a 3 RBI home run to put the Lions up 3-0. Things remained quiet until the 4th inning, with Lamar only scoring 1 run in the second. Top of the fourth, Sable Hankins doubles to left field, batting in 2 runs, then advances to third on an error to bring a 3rd run home. The Lady Cardinals lead 4-3. After a series of pitching changes, the Lions bring in Spencer Adkinson, who stepped up in a big way holding Lamar scoreless, allowing an RBI double by Sydney Booker to tie the game.
I kind of got a slow start to the beginning of the season, so I felt like it was important for me and important for everybody that we got the sweep. So
Tie game, bottom of the 7th, and what better way to end it than a rocket from Player of the Week Kinsey Nichols over the center field wall to finish the Cardinals 6-4.
helping my team out with the walk-off is pretty awesome. Our pitchers definitely deserved it. It took all of us to get through all of it, so I think that we just need to keep working towards it.
I'm really proud. It's been a long time since, I'd say we go out and swept a really good team, which I consider Lamar pretty good. But they just worked hard, and they're finding a way to win late.
We work hard, and we're ready. I just know I'm feeling it. We're going to the conference tournament.
Southeastern's Lady Lions are set to play rivals McNeese State in their next series as they continue to put together an impressive conference run. Both coaches and players are confident in their team, but do recognize the need to improve and continue to work hard in order to reach that conference championship. Reporting for the Big Game, I'm Matt Flores.
The track team recently competed at the Battle of the Bayou track meet hosted by LSU. Though the event was non-scored, the Lions had a great showing against some in-state and national competition. The women's 4x100 meter relay team recorded a first-place finish with a combined time of 46.19, while junior Raheem Brown recorded a second-place finish in the men's 200 meter dash with a time of 20.83. Despite challenging weather conditions, the team displayed some great performances as they took home multiple first-place finishes in both track and field events.
When we return, we'll take a look at Southeastern's spring football game.
And we'll see how the tennis team is winding down its season. Stay with us.
The Southeastern Channel offers a lot for sports fans.
Coaches shows, interviews with student athletes.
Football games, baseball games, basketball games.
I enjoy watching the coaches' insight programs after the online tracks because it does give our fans an insight of what happened during the game.
I enjoy watching the big game. It gives me an opportunity to keep up with Southeastern athletics on a weekly basis. Not just football, baseball, basketball, but even the smaller sports, like soccer and volleyball.
One of the things I've enjoyed most through the years watching is the production of the glory years.
It's a history, it's a documentation of where we've come from around here.
Solidified the reason why we brought Southeastern football back.
When the Southeastern Channel replays games, it helps the students be able to catch up and see what's going on.
I like to watch the baseball games and the football games.
It's the only time I get to watch Southeastern football is I get to see it on television. I don't ever have time to go.
Even athletics can be an educational experience when you involve the Southeastern Channel.
Welcome back to the Big Game. Southeastern's football team held its annual spring game as the white team faced off against the gold team in Strawberry Stadium. Taylor Rubach has more.
Saturday, March 28th, the Southeastern Lions football team kicked off their annual spring game. The teams were split up, white team being the offense, scoring points the traditional way, and gold team being the defense, scoring points for turnovers, 3 and outs, and stops. For the first 4 drives of the game, the gold team held off the white team, which included an interception by senior Josh Dakin, thrown by quarterback Deshae Lander. On the 5th drive, senior Kody Sutton raced in from 10 yards out to give the offense a 10-8 lead.
Anytime you can score a touchdown, especially against our one defense, it's an accomplishment. So I looked at it as a big thing for the team, and we outdid it as a team without the receivers blocking and the offensive line blocking. I couldn't have done it.
On to the next drive, junior Damara Lane hacked down sophomore Eugene Bethea to force him to fumble, and junior Derek Raymond gave the gold team 3 points by jumping on the fumbled ball. Starting off in the second quarter, freshman running back Julius Maraklin was stopped by the defense 4 times in a row. For the next drive, Macklin and freshman linebacker Dylan Vaughn stopped Bethea in the end zone and forced a safety. In the third quarter, Lander went 4 for 4 for 57 yards, and Bethea runs for 2 yards for a touchdown to give the white team a 31-20 lead. Rolling into the fourth quarter, Dakin intercepted a pass thrown by Larry Cutbirth and gave the gold team 3 points.
I know everybody's excited to actually strap up for the first time in the spring game, and yeah, I feel blessed and really excited that I got those 2 picks. It felt awesome.
Late in the game, Bethea ran 10 yards and closed out the scoring for the white team.
I thought it went really well. Guys competed hard. They've all played hard. We got a lot of guys reps, and I thought we had some guys step to the plate and answer some questions for us.
Lions will begin their quest in August in hopes of redeeming its 3rd straight Southland Conference championship. The 2015 season opens on September 3rd with Southeastern traveling to Northwestern State. The spring football game has not only helped the team work on their weak spots, it's also helped them bond together with new teammates. The seniors have definitely stepped up after losing some starters, but they agreed they transitioned pretty well with some new players and a new coach, and they're all looking forward to their new fall season. For the big game, I'm Taylor Rubach.
The Lions will seek their 3rd straight Southland Conference championship when they return to the field in the fall. They will play the season opener in Natchitoches as they take on Northwestern State for a Southland Conference contest. Standing by at Strawberry Stadium is big game reporter Maci Hill to tell us more on the Lions' upcoming season. Maci?
That's right, Annessa. Just a few more months until the first home game of the season here in Strawberry Stadium. But first, the 2-time Southland Conference champions need to handle business. Head coach Ron Roberts says new addition Brian Williams as defensive coordinator will make a tremendous addition to an already seasoned defensive line who allowed the least points in the conference last season. All-American cornerback Harlan Miller will lead a veteran group of all Southland selections. After losing their last game of the season in the first round of the Division I AA playoffs, the Lions will make strides towards a championship in 2015. Back to you, Annessa.
Thanks, Maci. The golf team has been in full swing as they finished in the top half of every tournament this season. That trend continued at the Old Waverly Collegiate Championship as the Lions came in 5th overall out of 15 teams. Southeastern was led by junior Iman Bradley, who finished in 17th place. Bradley shot a 67 in the second round and was the lone Lion to finish under par with a 214.
The tennis team closed out its non-conference schedule and clinched an overall winning record for the season of 11-6, dropping Morehead State to 8-9 overall with a loss. Freshman Natalie Durain and Medina Veronikova won in both singles and doubles play to lead the Lions to a 4-3 victory over Morehead State at the Eagle Indoor Center. Southeastern will return to action next Tuesday, traveling to UNO for a Southland Conference match.
Freshmen in our starting lineup, I think we're doing real well. They work real hard. The rest of the team is working hard. And we've had some close matches. We had some tough losses. But overall, I'm very happy with how they're playing. And, it gives us a good base for the future.
Coming up after the break, Richard Mills will join us for some pick and roll. The big game will be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back to the big game. I'm Annessa Cruz along with Nicole Faucheux. And joining us on the desk now for some pick and roll is Richard Mills. Richie, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so starting off with Lions baseball. The team is first in conference play right now. What do you think it's going to take for them to win the division title and keep the conference in the lead, Nicole?
So the Lions baseball team is 11-4 in conference play right now, and I think this season they've already started off with the right energy, and they've been working very well under pressure. I think that they battle the whole entire time, and if the Lions baseball team keeps up the fast pace and play how they're supposed to play, I think they're going to be doing a lot of good things this year.
Okay. And Richie, how do you feel?
Well, I feel like very optimistic moving forward. I'm going to tell you why. It's because 6 of their starting batters are batting over 300 in their lineup, but most importantly, the top 5 pitchers in their rotation have a current record of 18-5 and an ERA just at about 2. I mean, yeah, they dropped the series to Utah, but Utah is a Pac-12 team, and we all know the Pac-12 love their baseball. So I think the baseball team is going to be just fine moving forward. Nothing to freak out over with the series loss.
Okay. And Lady Lions softball is in a similar position. They're 13-4 now in conference play. They're running behind strong batting from Kinsey, Nichols, and Sydney Booker, 2 freshmen. What do you think they have to do to win a division title?
Well, freshman Booker, she's definitely a power threat. She already leads Southeastern this year with 7 home runs, and Nichols is the same way. She's a great hitter. I think that the Southeastern Lions softball team, they've already got a strong team. They have a lot of key players like Taylor Bishop and Kody LaCour, and I think if they just keep their confidence up, that they'll do a lot of great things this season.
Okay. And Richie, how do you feel about that?
Well, it's like Nicole said, Kody LaCour, she also helps complement this lineup of these 4 fantastic batters that Southeastern has. You have Kody LaCour, Sydney Booker, Kinsey Nichols, and Amber Sathers. They all tend to complement one another, but one person that's really been their MVP kind of doesn't get a lot of credit as someone that's improved their starting record from 7-9 overall and an ERA of 4 from last season, and that's Taylor Bishop. As of right now, she has an overall record of 12-4, and she has a 2.61 ERA, and she's pitched over 100 innings of softball, so she doesn't really get that much credit, but she has definitely helped them carry. And moving forward, their pitching is going to be the difference.
Yeah, I like the point that you made about Taylor Bishop. I got a chance to watch her play, and she's doing a very great job, and I would say she's holding a lot of weight on the team. So now we're moving on to the Pelicans. They're currently battling for the 8th spot in playoffs, and they have to beat the defending champs, the Spurs, in order to grab that 8th spot. How do you think they'll do? Will you think they'll hold off the Thunder for that 8th spot?
So tomorrow night is the big showdown. The Pelicans will be facing the Spurs and tipping off at 7 o'clock at home. And the Thunder will also be facing Timberwolves at 7 in Minnesota. So I think that the Pelicans have, of course, a tougher game over the Thunder tomorrow night. And I think that the Pelicans just have to have their confidence level up. They've already beaten the Spurs 2 out of 3 times this year. I think that the Pelicans, they just have to have good energy, stay in their spot. You're going to have big plays by AD. Eric Gordon's been shooting the ball very well. I think as long as they clinch this win, they'll get the 8th spot and see a playoff run.
Okay, and Richard, how do you feel about that?
Well, I feel like it's a lose-lose situation, but if the Pelicans have any chance of beating the Spurs tomorrow night, they have to play within their roles. They have to play very disciplined basketball, defensive basketball. You know the Spurs aren't going to sit any of their starters because they're trying to keep their number 2 spot in the West. But for Oklahoma City, you really want to root against them right now, although Minnesota kind of dropped the ball against the Pelicans, which worked in our favor. But I don't see Oklahoma City dropping off against the Timberwolves, and I do see the Pelicans beating the Spurs, but at the same time, I think the Spurs are going to come out with this sort of energy, just kind of sending a message to the rest of the Western Conference and that we're going to be here, we're going to continue our win streak, and we're going to repeat.
Okay, and now we're going to move on to the big topic, the NFL. The draft right now, currently the top 2 quarterbacks are Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota, and Tampa Bay has the first pick. Who do you think they're going to go with?
I personally don't think that they're going to go with Winston because I think performance ready, he's ready for the NFL. But I don't think that he's ready for everything that comes along with the NFL. I don't think he's ready for that spotlight. I think he lacks a little bit of immaturity at that perspective. I really think that they're going to go with Mariota, only because, I mean, he's the Heisman winner. I think he's already got a great perspective on the field, and I think he's ready for that off the field. I think he'd be a great face for the franchise.
Okay, and Richie?
Well, one of 2 things is going to happen on draft day, and I know a lot of people are going to think I'm crazy for thinking this, but either Tampa Bay is going to take Jameis Winston number 1 overall, or the San Diego Chargers are going to trade up for that number 1 spot. They're looking to deal Phillip Rivers, and I know Tampa Bay is desperately looking for a quarterback, so why settle for a first-year rookie when you can get the experienced veteran? And either way, the Chargers are going to have their options of either Jameis Winston or Marcus Mariota, but that is a possibility. But at the same time, I think Jameis Winston is a better fit for Tampa Bay. Marcus Mariota is more of a system quarterback, and you kind of saw that at Oregon, whereas Jameis Winston just kind of did his own thing. He played freely. He had a lot of freedom out there on the field. So those are my 2 scenarios for draft day. Like I said, a lot of people are going to think I'm crazy, but that's what it's looking like it's going to be.
That's the funny thing about the NFL is you never know really what's going to happen. You don't know what team's got up their sleeve and who's going to do what in the draft.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Well, that's it for this edition of The Big Game. Join us again next time for some more Lion Sports. For the latest in Southeastern athletics, visit www.lionsports.net. For Nicole Faucheux and Richard Mills, I'm Annessa Cruz. Thanks for watching.